Hi, hello, and welcome to a new episode of Release. I'm your host, Adriana, and I'm so honored and grateful that you've taken the time to listen to what I have to say. Today, I wanted to talk about grief and loss and how to navigate a journey of mourning and how to give ourselves space to be able to not only mourn, but to begin our journey of healing. And when I talk about grief and loss, I'm not only talking about the grief and loss that you experience when someone passes away. I'm talking about loss of a relationship, platonic or romantic, loss of a job, loss of anything that you held dear to your heart. And now that it has abandoned you, you feel a hole in your chest, essentially. You feel like something is missing from you. So the first thing that is going to be on our little list today is to recognize your feelings. Recognize that your feelings are valid and that whatever you're feeling, regardless of how inconsequential it may seem to somebody else, just because somebody may say, oh, it's whatever, you just lost your job. That job may have been the highlight of your day. Every morning you wake up, you're so excited to go to work. You're so excited to do all of these things. And now that you've lost it, you feel like not only have you lost your source of income, but you've lost a source of joy. All right. So the first thing that you need to do is recognize that your feelings are valid. Validate yourself. Because nobody else's validation is going to feel as good as your own validation. As you saying, I feel this, and this is what I feel, and nobody can tell me anything else. Nobody can tell me that my feelings are wrong, because it's what I'm feeling. And your body isn't going to lie to you. Even if you don't recognize it, your body's still going to feel it. So what helps me is definitely journaling. I talk about journaling on here all the time, but writing down, I like to date my journal entries just to be able to go back and see what I was feeling, what date, whatever. And just open up your journal, physical, or you can make a note in your phone and just begin to write. Just begin to write about the feeling, and then you would be surprised to see what comes out. Just allow it all to come out onto the page, and that may evoke some strong emotions. I've done journal entries like that before where I'm writing and then halfway through I start crying. And then I reread it and I'm crying even more. Whatever your reaction to the entry is, I just want you to get it onto something out of your brain, because sometimes we keep these things on our minds and we find ourselves reminiscing and just like mulling it over and over and over in our heads and not realizing that we are harming ourselves by living in the past. We have to remember that our brains and our bodies do not understand time. That even though you may have experienced something 5 years ago, if for 5 whole years you just spend the time thinking it over and over and over and reimagining it, your body is going to allow you to re-experience that thing over and over. You're literally enacting your pain. You are literally enacting your pain, and you do not deserve that. So our first thing that we do is to get it out of the brain. Obviously, this isn't going to be the end all be all, and it's no longer going to be on your mind, but the beginning step. And you can do this as many times as you need to. You can journal about the situation every single day. Make a voice note and just rant and scream. Whatever you need to do, just get it out. And now that you have gotten the emotion out, now you need to come to a place of realization. When it comes to heartbreak and losing relationships, a lot of the time we feel like we have been abandoned. We feel as though things are unfair. We feel a very large range of emotions. But I'm going to tell you right now that everything that is for you will always be for you. And if somebody leaves or if something no longer exists in your life, let it go. Because the cause of our suffering is attachment. A lot of the times we have formed a sense of identity based on our relation to certain things. So because we believe that this thing is ours forever, then when it leaves, we feel as if we have been maybe wronged by the universe, or we feel like things aren't going the way that they're supposed to go. But you don't know the way they're supposed to go. I don't know the way they're supposed to go. Only the universe knows. Because all of this is based on divine timing. And if you spend time worrying about why things didn't go the way that they go, it doesn't change the reality. Or you are spending your time worrying about things, the reason why things went the way that they did go, you're literally creating like a river of extra stress in your mind, because now you are existing in dissonance with your reality. Now you are pushing against your reality. And I still struggle with trying to control things, and control is an illusion. 110%. We have no control over things. And I spent so much time trying to basically tell reality what it was supposed to be and how things were supposed to go, and XYZ, blah, 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 whatever. And it was only when surrender came into play. I talk about surrender on here a lot, but it's really when I allowed things to be, where I said, I'm not going to worry about this anymore, universe. I cannot handle another thing. So I'm going to give it up to you. I'm going to allow you to do whatever, and I'm just going to allow things to flow. Because when I do it and I try to control it, it's just going to go left. Regardless of how much you push, eventually the universe is going to wear you down and you're going to have to surrender. You're going to have to allow that shit to just play out, because it's going to play out regardless of how much you push on it. And the third thing is to forgive yourself and we're going to split this into two. The third thing is to first forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for all of the things that you allowed to happen before this journey of loss and mourning began. For me, when people leave, I struggle with realizing that it is for the best. And now I'm much better with saying, okay, this is the universe's plan. I have no control. Like, yes, I'm sad, but it doesn't matter. Sadness is just an emotion that will pass. This thing is out of my life and I need to know how to handle it. And sometimes, like, certain people have left my life and I tried my absolute best to always be the best for them. to always love them, always care for them, always be the best, whatever I had to be for them. And those people leave your life, and you begin to realize how maybe they took you for granted, or maybe they in the ways that they didn't love you properly. And you can beat yourself up for that, to say, I can't believe that I allowed this to happen. And I can't believe that X, Y, Z. But sometimes the things that you allowed to happen are the lessons that you need to learn after the end of that relationship and the end of that friendship, the end of that partnership. Because let's say that I'm in a relationship with somebody and they are terrible at communication, they are horrible at keeping commitments, they are breaking your boundaries all the time, whatever the case may be. Now that this thing is over and you're feeling the pain and the manifestation of all of those things accumulating into one bowl of hurt, whatever we want to call it. I'm using lots of metaphor today. I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah, it all has come to a culmination of like this sadness, this hurt, this pain that you're currently feeling. Now it's time to look at how that person treated you. What did they do to you? Okay, they broke your boundaries and you allowed it. Okay, now that this person is gone and now that I've realized that this is an issue, I'm going to work on my boundaries. I'm going to work on saying that this is what I want, and if you can't accept it, then I have to go. And a lot of people, including myself, struggle with that thought pattern, that okay, if someone doesn't do something the way that I like it, then I need to leave. For so long, I found myself settling. I found myself making loopholes around my own rules in order to satisfy somebody else who did not have it in them to satisfy me and to live up to my standards. I was breaking myself down to be able. I remember when I was with a specific person, and this was during COVID. It was like near the end of lockdown. I think it was the time that we had like a curfew in the city, like you can't be out past 9 p.m. or something like that. And I would go to this person's house, and because there was nowhere else to go because everything was closed and whatever, I would dress up. I would find a cute outfit, I would do my hair, I would do my makeup, and I would go see this person, la-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da. And this person, my partner, would tell me, why are you dressing up? Who are you dressing up for? Like, first of all, I'm gonna need you to wind it all the way back. You should be so fucking grateful that I am here looking so scrumdiddlyumptious. First of all. Second of all, why would you say that to somebody? Why would you, first of all, insecurity. A lot of people say things and do things or cannot abide by people's regulations because they are insecure and they don't know, or they're not aware of what they're saying, and they're not aware of how their own fears and limitations are stopping them from getting to where in the relationship they need to be. Because that was not an appropriate response. And anybody that is around anybody ever, don't you ever. I'm sorry, that was Clearly, I feel passionately about that situation because I felt like, yes, I'm dressing up for myself. Of course, I want to look good. I'm not going to go outside looking like, I'm broken down. But it's just feeling rejected in a sense. And of course, loss and grief can bring up a lot of rejection. And when you are forgiving yourself and you're on the journey to forgiving yourself, you really do need to remember that you are not being rejected. You will never be rejected by the universe. You will never be rejected by the people that love you. Like I said before, what is for you can never not be for you. It will always be for you. So when you feel this sort of rejection on this journey of healing, it's okay. Not everybody's going to be for you. Not everybody is going to know how to handle you. Not everybody is going to understand you. And that is fine. That is more than fine. That is a blessing because not everybody is going to be aligned with your energy, and you don't want everybody around you. That person that I was talking about had very stinky energy now that I think about it. And that was his own projections and his own feelings and whatever, and his own fear of rejection, but that shouldn't have been projected on me. Anyway, and then the third thing, we can say it's 2A and 2B. 2B would be to forgive the other people. Forgive the people that have hurt you. Forgive the people that have left you. Forgive the people that have wronged you. Forgive them for not knowing better. Forgive them for not doing better. Forgive them for being cowards. Forgive them for whatever you need to do. And again, this is going to be great to write down. But what might help is when you write it down, or if you are an artist, you can, get to your art medium and just think about how that person has made you feel. And again, this is another form of the first point. You write down things that they have done to you. Be as specific as possible. And you say, I forgive you for, I did this recently. I forgive, and write their name, for blah, 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 blah. I understand that you were XYZ and I forgive you, but I will never welcome you into my space again. I release you, etc. And then if it's multiple people, I had one where it was multiple people, and I just go down the line of the people that have hurt me the most and the hurt that resonates the most within me. And I write that down. And then the next step is to rip it up, or go somewhere where things won't catch on fire and you won't burn your house down, and light that shit on fire and watch it burn. And just imagine all of this weight of pain and grief being lifted off of your shoulders. And you can do this as many times as you need to. All of these things are not, like I said, it's a journey. So on step 1 of your journey, you may need to journal. And then step 5 of your journey may consist of going back to step 1 and journaling the same thing over and over, whatever. Doesn't matter what the process looks like, as long as you understand that it is a process and it is your process and nobody can ridicule you for that. Okay, and our third point is that you need to understand that you deserve better. The universe is preparing better for you, and so let's say I have been wronged by somebody, and they come back and they're like, oh, I love you so much, blah, 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 blah. No. I've had this conversation with someone actually. After hurting me, they come to me and they say, oh, I love you so much. I'm like, no, you don't love me. You never loved me. Because my understanding of love is that you think about the person that you love before you do something that would hurt them, before you engage in a situation that you know would harm them, and then you come back spewing, oh, I love you. That's bullshit. That's actually legit bullshit. And I'm not going to sit around and accept half-assed apologies and half-assed declarations of love if you can never show it. Actions speak louder than words. If you need to leave a situation because you are not feeling loved, and if you voice your opinion and the person does not try to improve, then you need to take that step to go. Goodbye. Adios. Whatever. But you need to realize and recognize that you deserve better, and the universe is clearing better for you. I had to understand that just like I'm changing, my tastes are going to change, meaning my tastes in the people that I'm around and the things that I do and things that I say and the media that I digest. You know what I mean. The things that I do in my regular days. Those things are going to change once you begin to change. Once you begin to understand that something needs to shift. And with that, you might feel really lonely. I do have an episode on basking in loneliness and understanding that loneliness does not mean that you're alone. But you might have to go through a journey of feeling really lonely, because I understand if you are with someone for X amount of years, or you are in a friendship for whatever amount of time, and then suddenly that doesn't exist anymore. That connection to that person no longer exists. You're hurting your ego. Now that form of identity to say, I am this person's partner, I am this person's friend, is no longer something. And I know a lot of people, when it comes to relationships, it's very heavy. It is very multi-layered, just like friendships, of course. But with relationships, a lot of people plan like futures with their partners and say, oh, I'm going to marry you. I'm going to do this with you. I'm going to do that with you. And sometimes those things begin to come into fruition. And there are a lot of people that have been pregnant this year. And there's so many stories of people that have gotten pregnant and then now they're stuck in a situation where they were planning to have a family with someone, and all of a sudden those plans fall through. Or even with Roe v. Wade, just having to imagine experiencing something like that, having to, I have to be really careful with the way that I word this. With the loss of a child and having to choose to lose a person, a being, part of your DNA, and having people tell you, I've heard some Christians talk about uneducated, ignorant people. I'm not going to say Christians. Christians may be included in this grouping, but uneducated, ignorant people that say that women have abortions for fun, or they use it as birth control, or it's just a get out of hell, get out of jail free card, get out of hell. Anyway, yeah, and that is ridiculous. There is no silver lining to having to choose to give up a being, a pregnancy, whatever you want to call it. And even if it is the best choice, and anybody that is doing that, it's the best choice for them. And I just wanted to say that you are so strong and you are amazing for making that decision and trying to make the best decision for you and that unborn soul. But a lot of people ridicule that loss by saying, oh, it's not really a loss because you chose it. They will never understand until it is them. So I need you to remember that you need to validate your own experience. You need to say that all my feelings are valid. All of my back and forth on this topic is so valid, and nobody else gets to tell me. This is not only about Roe v. Wade or about abortion. This is about everything that I've been talking about so far. You need to say that all my feelings are valid and I am here and this is the decision that I am making, and that is what needs to be done, simply. But anyway, I feel very passionately about Roe v. Wade. I have an episode about it. I just feel like men telling women what to do with their bodies is fucking bullshit and should not be done. Simply, plainly. But this is not an episode about that is about ranting about what men should and shouldn't be doing, because that can be a whole hour episode on its own. But anyway, back to what I was saying. As you are on this journey, you need to recognize that not healing this pain and not recognizing the lessons that are being taught are going to have you fall into those same patterns again. A lot of people talk about, oh, I keep ending up with the same man. I keep getting into the same situations. It's because the universe is telling you, hey, babe, this is an issue. This is something that you need to learn. This is a lesson that needs to be taught to you, and you need to pay attention. I've had so many situations where people keep taking advantage of me, and it was just me forgiving them over and over and over and over and over and over, and basically having no boundaries. And it would happen, and it felt like it just got heavier and heavier and heavier because this person did this thing to me, and they come to me in my face smiling, not smiling, but like having an apology, and then they expect me to just take them into my arms and just be so happy and elated that they are here. Like I found that with the same person I was talking about, he used to do this thing where he would do really shitty things, and then he would either cry to me or he would tell me like, oh, I did this really shitty thing to you, but like I feel really sick because like my instinct is to care for people. My instinct is to ignore myself when somebody comes to me in a moment of need. It has always been the way that I have gone about things, the way that I have dealt with things. And I realized that rejecting myself, rejecting my own needs doesn't help me. It may benefit them, but it doesn't help me at all. And I'm just holding on. Like I said, I'm just settling for what shouldn't even be happening. And when I talk about settling, a lot of people will tell me that my expectations are not realistic, that my standards are not realistic, that reality doesn't allow people to, some people get lucky, but not everybody is allowed the luxury of being able to have high standards, and I need to lower my standards if I want to, I don't know, have the husband, have the kids, have the life I want. I have to be able to sacrifice some things. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's bullshit. That's such fucking garbage, because I don't believe that we were put on this earth, this place full of suffering. I don't believe, I told the universe, I said, you put me here, and I don't think that you put me here to suffer. I don't think you put me here to settle. I don't think that my existence in this blip of time, this boop, and then I'm going to be dead. That's really morbid, but we exist on such a small fraction of the timeline of everything existing. From the beginning of the universe to the end, we will only be a blip in time. I don't know why I'm making that little sound effect with the blip, but yeah, we only exist for such a short amount of time, and I cannot spend that short amount of time feeling like shit. I don't think that that's what I deserve. And you have to stand on your own 2 feet and say, I deserve better. And better may be just kicking it by yourself. Better may be blocking people. Better may be deleting the photos. Better may be deleting the text threads. Better may be telling them to go fuck themselves. Whatever it is, you need to do that. You need to do that, get it out of your system, and then we move on. We open a new page. It's a fresh start. And yes, you're going to be weighed down by the past, but it's so important for us to recognize that just because these feelings exist and they are there doesn't mean that we need to be overcome by them. It doesn't mean that we need to allow them to overwhelm us. You greet the feeling and you say, I'm feeling sad. I am feeling sad because of blah, 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 blah. Obviously, you don't have to say this out loud, but I'm feeling sad because of blah, blah, blah. And you want to cry, you cry. You want to scream, you scream. You want to write, you write. You want to journal, you journal. You want to paint, you paint. Whatever it is that you do that thing. You channel the emotion. You allow the emotion to flow through you and flow out of you. It's very important that as a creative, as someone who brings art into being, you have to recognize that the release of emotions is not just crying. And when I say creative, if you're a journal, oh my God, if you are just journaling and you don't think that you are a creative, just writing things down, you're creating something. You are taking something from your brain and you're creating on a piece of paper. Whatever it may be, you are releasing. You are putting it from the brain, from the heart, through the arms, onto the page. It's symbolic of releasing. It's symbolic of letting go. It's symbolic of putting and validating your experience, because that's the first point. The first thing, you have to validate yourself. You have to recognize that. I know I already said this, but just recognize that your feelings are valid, because a lot of people, a lot of the times we invalidate ourselves, and that's what allows other people to invalidate us, because they see that we are brushing things off and like, oh, a lot of the times people treat us like shit. It's because they see that we treat ourselves like shit. And I hate to say it, hate to be the bearer of bad news. Actually, I don't, because you need to hear it. And I need to hear it. I treated myself like shit for a really long time, because of my own trauma and my own feelings and narratives that I gave myself. But once I realized, like, wait, I'm the shit. Like, I'm actually the shit. And not in a cocky way, but you are also the shit. We're all the shit. We are... I'm gonna stop saying we're the shit because I don't like that, but you are it. You're the bomb diggity. You are the bomb.com. You are everything. You are the essence of life. Anybody that has decided to walk out of your life, it's their loss. It's honestly their loss. And you are becoming a better version of yourself every step you take away from realizing that it's their loss. Every step that you take away from thinking that it was your loss. Great. Amazing. Great. As long as you distance yourself and you start to move away from that point. And for me, what has helped is that I have kind of, because I'm working on my self-love and my healing journey, and I'm constantly learning and I'm constantly trying to grow, it brings me a lot of comfort to think about the fact that this person will never experience this version of me. I've realized that I've done this thing with tattoos. I get new tattoos after something painful has happened, after I have started going through a healing process of the ending of something, because I can look at myself and say, this is a new part of me that person will never experience. And this is a beautiful new piece of art that they will never see. It sucks to be them. But this is a sign of my resilience. This is a sign of, when I look at it, I'm going to say, I got this tattoo when blah, 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 blah hurt me. And now I am doing this. Now I am here. Now I am whatever. A point of reference. But that's just me. Not everybody likes tattoos. There are other ways I'm sure that you could go about that, but it's just me and my own preferences because I love tattoos. Yeah. Recognizing, understanding that everything that you're feeling needs to be felt. It needs to be felt, and you need to understand in order to change the way that you approach things. And I had to learn that sometimes we really do victimize ourselves. And you need to understand the difference between victimizing yourself and validating yourself. Because victimizing yourself is, woe is me, blah, 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 blah. Can't believe you did this to me. It's ego talking. Can't believe you did this to me. Can't believe you, blah, blah, blah. And then when you validate yourself, you're like, this was done to me. And I'm hurt. I allowed somebody to do this thing to me, and now I am sad. And I had to realize that multiple things can be true at one time. Like, yes, somebody hurt you, but why did they hurt you? Their own their own upbringing may have affected them in such a way that they project that onto you, but that is not your burden to carry. I'm not saying that for you to feel guilty. I'm saying that for you to understand that, yes. So I just had a conversation with someone at work, and she was telling me about her relationship and how, like, her partner just wasn't doing it, and because they're traumatized, she was saying that, like, her partner's traumatized, so she doesn't want to really do anything that's going to hurt them, and she doesn't want to reignite that pain. But I told her, I was like, think about it. you are also traumatized, and you need to realize that keeping yourself in that space is not helping you. Just because you stay in that space doesn't change the fact that they are traumatized. They're still going to treat you like shit. You cannot heal them. So if they're hurting you, do not stay in any space that you are being hurt. Do not stay in any space that makes you uncomfortable. Do not stay in any space where you feel unloved. With that rule and that governing principle, whatever you want to call it, you can recognize, like, I'm not feeling loved right now. And I have recognized that right off the bat with a lot of things. And I push my feelings aside. And it always comes snowballing right back down to that first thought that I had. Oh, not feeling loved, not feeling cherished, not feeling cared for. So, with all of that being said, I want you to know that there will always be someone that will love you for you, accept you for you, care for you, and know how to cherish you. But to find that alignment and to find that person, you must first find it within yourself. You must first cherish yourself. You must first love yourself, and you must first understand how to love yourself, because you will settle for shit. If you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. That quote, I've heard it multiple times, but it was just recently that it really resonated with me. Like, if you have no standards, anybody that comes into your life, you'll be so happy. You won't even think about, oh, this is not for me. And because of a lot of people's fear of loneliness and being alone, we settle. And we're done settling. No more settling. We are working towards our best selves, and shitty people are going to leave, but good riddance to them, because they didn't even deserve to see the best version of us in the first place. But yeah, that's all I have to say for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. I love you so much. Remember to stay hydrated. It is also approaching exam season. So if you are in school, remember to take the time to eat, take the time to recalibrate, relax, take it slow, make a plan. You got this. I love you. Yeah, and I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye.